GWAR. 40 shocking years.
The band from hell.
1.3 million album sales, 22 releases, 319 songs, 200 million streams, and 50 million video views. 2,601 shows, 2 million tickets sold, 2,418 politicians and public figures killed, decapitated, flayed, or otherwise eviscerated on stage.
They've already been banned.
Banned in 3 countries in the 90s. 10 feature-length films, 11 comic books, 26 TV appearances, 3 strategic war games, 1 crack-addicted dinosaur. 347,559 parents terrified, 4 popes enraged, 2 arrests, 1 phallus confiscated, 0 convictions. 1 bar, countless tragedy, 2 Grammy nominations, 40 years of shock rock, still your lords and masters.
Lord lives, motherfucker!
And still Beavis and Butthead's favorite band. GWAR, 40 shocking years.
Be the worst.
This show is about the world's greatest art collective.
This show is a gallery show of 40 years of props, costumes, illustrations, and concepts of an art collective that creates the rock and roll band GWAR.
GWAR does everything.
A lot of people don't know that we've made everything ourselves and paid for it all ourselves.
We're as in-house hands-on as you possibly can be.
We don't farm anything out. It's all done at the pit by us.
We design our t-shirts, we write the comic books, we draw the comic books, we write the lyrics, we build the costumes, we wear the costumes.
Let There Be GWAR is an experience.
What we're trying to do here is present GWAR in a way that people can understand the artistry. If you love creativity and you love art, you're going to see something here that is going to impress you.
There's a lot of social commentary to GWAR. They don't discriminate. They're going to hack the head off of anybody.
We follow current events. Whoever's the president obviously is going to be getting killed on stage.
I want to make something for the hyper intellectual college professor that's sitting in the back row stroking his beard and thinking about what the social implications of all this are, you know?
More often than not, the topics that we want to hit are the more important things. And we're being offensive to engage, right? You know, look at this. You should be outraged. If you're not, there's a problem, right? But here we are, we're doing it in a comical, satirical way.
We had GWAR here all of opening weekend. They played in the gallery. They wore their costumes. They met with fans. They did signings. Thousands of people came to the opening. By the close of the show, thousands more will come through. From 12 years old to 70 years old, people are here. GWAR has transcended generations.
There's nothing else like GWAR.
Apparently, humans print books with tiny doodles and lies. They call it Mind Control Monthly. Check it out.
That's right there, scum. You remember GWAR's Mind Control Monthly? Every issue with all kinds of awesome stuff now is being compiled into one awesome book that you can only get at the Beat the Streets Art Gallery show. Get it?
Hello, no, why do I always start in the corner? Hello, it's me, Kevin Vonesper, and if you're watching this, you have found the GWARPod. I'm here in my GWAR cape, gonna try to not knock my computer over this time. This is sort of a special one, a tribute to a fallen scumdog, Mike Spike Delaney. somebody I never got to talk to, unfortunately. But thankfully, with all the documentation that GWAR has done, we have some portions of an interview that nobody's ever seen before. So Mike can tell you a bit of his story through this show. And to guide us, we have Bobby Gorman, of course, the Bone Snapper himself and the archivist. And yeah, please join in, ask your questions, and we're going to have a good time celebrating the life of Mike Delaney here tonight on the GWARPod. Let's do the theme song.
GWARPod comes from on GWARPod. 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 GWARPod.
Hello.
What's up?
How's it going, man?
It's going well.
Thanks for doing this. This was your idea, by the way, and so I really appreciate it. Because this, I try to talk to everybody, and of course, we lost another one, unfortunately. And I think this is a really good way to kind of celebrate his life and words and contribution to GWAR.
Yeah, and so everyone knows, when I was on, whenever, a year ago, 6 months ago, I can't remember. We spoke about the movie that Don and I had worked on. This, when Spike passed, it was really hard on all of us. We really loved the guy, and he was such a great character, and on again and off again contributor, but really, really important in the early days as far as setting the tone of GWAR and the big goofy stuff that, I texted Don as soon as Spike passed and said, hey man, can you find that footage and can we share it so everyone can see him? And Don found it. I'm not sure if this is all of it. I think there's more, but it's enough so you get an idea who the guy was, and kind of, I wish I'd been more, the idea behind the interview was about the dim time footage in that era. So you're going to get a little bit of an idea, but maybe after the footage, I could talk more about his input and the stuff that I didn't ask him, and I can kind of let everyone know his contributions to GWAR.
Yeah, and I have it cut up in little clips, so it's going to be little topics, kind of in an order. I think that tells the story.
Yeah.
But I mean, you kind of already did it. But before we get to it, can you kind of just introduce us to who Mike Delaney was, like as a contributor, as a person?
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure when he jumped on the snowball. I mean, it was real early. So Hunter and Chuck kind of came as a package.
Let's check. Let's check.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Chuck pulled him into the family, or maybe it was
October 11th, 1985, according to your
right. And in the interview, when I was looking at the old footage, he says he was at one or two of the GWAR shows. Right. I know he's at the and he's in costume at the PB Kelly's, the very first.
Oh,
GWAR show.
wow. Okay.
Right. But
right.
How he got involved is not something I specifically asked him. I believe it was through his friendship with Chuck and VCU.
I think he explains a little bit of that in the interview.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't rewatch all of the footage.
Yeah.
So just to give you an overview of his, him and Chuck were the kind of bigger, not scrawny punk rockers. They were the kind of football playing looking punk rockers. So they usually played a heavy. Nobody wanted to wear that old Gorgor outfit because apparently it was horrible. The jaw rested on your shoulders, and there was nowhere to go, so you had to stand in it the entire show just to bite someone in the last song. So you had to basically stand in it for an hour to do one thing at the end of the show. So it was always either Chuck or Delaney because they were the big guys that could take it. And so both of them kind of played, Chuck and Delaney would either play Cardinal Sin or Gorgor or Duke of Dogma or a heavy of some kind. And, but his contributions were, some of the cardinal sin aspects, a lot of the dead babies, and the big goofy skulls. You know, Don told me one time that he was making some skull for Beefcake, and Delaney came over and was just like, not big enough, not goofy enough, make it bigger.
That's
funny. You know, and so Don said real early on, you know, what a, you know, kind of important for, as far as the, you know, the bigger look of GWAR is definitely like, you know, part of Delaney. So, you know, he left. He sort of phased out. You can kind of hear in the interview his sort of disillusion with, you know, just sort of how it was kind of really rough to do that. And he wanted to make a living. So he kind of moved on. But then he ended up coming back, or never really leaving completely. He just wasn't a recurring character. But he played the first Frankenref, you know, for the
right. Yeah, that's cool.
The very first wrestling show, which was the Hello album release party. I was at that, and he was the Frankenref, and that character. You know, Scott Krall played that character for years, and I played him a few times. So he set a lot of characters that ended up being, you know, so the Executioner became the Sexicutioner.
Right.
Chuck took him over and made it his own. It's just sort of like he's one of these people that set a lot of concepts early on that kept with us, and even though he didn't stay. But then when he moved back from Philly, we were filming Skullhead Face, and we were building all the costumes again. And he jumped back on board and did a lot of like the big goofy beefcake feet, you know, very Delaney, like those giant rotten toenails and things like that. You know, I've got a picture, I think I shared it with you, of him, you know, very, very lovingly crafting the gross big toenails.
I think I got that right here.
Yeah, there you go. See, that's him. That's in either late 93 or early 94 when we were redoing everything. And so that's a classic. I mean, we still use those feet on and off for things. So like, you know, so then, you know, he filmed, he played a lot of stuff in Skullhead Face.
Yeah,
and
I have one picture of that somewhere.
Yeah, he's one of the corpses.
In the homogenizer.
Yeah, in the he's the middle corpse there with the colander on his head. Nice. And then he went on tour with us because
really?
GWAR and X-Cops, and we had all these people and all this stuff going on, and we were just like, let's get more people to come with us. So he toured with us in 94. And then after that, it was, you know, not as much, but like early days, and then in 94, he just had a big imprint on GWAR. So I just wanted to, you know, let people know who he was, and so he could be remembered. And I included some of his stuff. We can talk after we talk about him, about the art show, but I tried to find something from everybody that had ever been a visual artist in GWAR. And so I got a few Delaney things in there, which was really cool for me. So
amazing. Well, I guess, you know, and I have a couple pictures I can share along the way as well, between.
Yeah, I tried to dig as many up as I could, but I mean, I think there might be 10 or 15 maybe. But...
Yeah, and I stole a couple from his Facebook as well. So
awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And you guys, if you want to know about Mike Delaney, ask your questions in the chat. Bobby's here to answer it for you. I guess we should just jump right into it, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. This one. Oh, let me start at the top here. All right, this one's about Mike going to college. So let's check it out.
Like, what did you major in BCU?
Sculpture.
So what kind of stuff were you making before you started making the costumes?
Before I went to making costumes, I was making a bunch of flaming skulls and stuff when I was in sculpture school, you know. I mean, everybody thought I was nuts, man. So it was kind of a natural thing for me, natural kind of meld, you know, just because I was already in sculpture making all these flaming skulls, and there we go. The cute pink unicorn.
And
there's Bonner.
Like the cloth and glue. Who started doing that? Was that Hunter or was that
Hunter, yeah, that's Hunter's technology, the cloth and glue.
But everyone, that caught on pretty quickly as the main technology.
Yeah, I was making a bunch of like. In fact, I made a trike with like flames on it, all metal trike with like. When I was in sculpture with like saw blade wheels, I took like bandsaw blades and then rode it into the into the studio on critique day, and everybody just like, hey, what is wrong with you, man? I made a bologna Jesus. That was another one. I made a crucifix made out of olive loaf. In fact, it wasn't bologna.
Yeah, I've heard of that. It was all sweaty and dry.
Yeah, it was all sweaty, dried olive loaf. Jesus on the crucifix, man. They just thought I was nuts up there, man. But and even after I started making props, I used to bring GWAR props to school, and they would, they would totally freak them out. They'd be like, "What is this? This is an art. How dare you bring this?" They totally jam their groove. And the ironic thing is that now, of course, those guys, think that are really proud of all the everybody in GWAR who ever took a class at VCU. They're like, oh yeah, Bob Gorman went to school here. Yeah. Matt McGuire took a class here. Yeah, I'm sure they tell everybody that. Except for Chuck Henry, he loved everything, man. I made one sculpture that was a Ed Gein bowl, I remember, for Chuck Henry's class. It was a skull with like floating eyeballs and ears in it, and I called it, your skull is my bowl. That was my art piece. And Chuck Henry loved it, man. He loved everything.
That became a classic compilation, like a Richmond.
Oh yeah, that's where I got the name from, that compilation.
Okay.
Your skull is my bowl. I got it from that hardcore compilation. It was like a bunch of DC bands and Richmond bands. And I decided to make an art piece about it. Your skull is my bowl.
Tell me more about this compilation.
Well, it's an honor roll graven image split. And the thing about it is Brocky did the artwork.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's rare as hen's teeth. And of course, I remember I asked some people, or I asked Brocky about it. And he, of course, they asked him to do a cover for a 45, and he did this thing that didn't fit or didn't work at all. And he was like, man, they were really mad at me. And I was like, well, you didn't do the assignment, of course, because it's Brocky. But yeah, Your Skull is My Bowl is, I think one half of it has been released, maybe the honor roll half. Am I getting that right? It's honor roll and graven image. Someone's going to correct me. I can't think of it right now, but I believe that's it.
Okay. With Dave's artwork, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish I had it here to share, but I have a copy I have a photocopy of the piece of art, but it was the wrong size. But, you sort of get the idea who Spike was. He's a pretty big character, So,
who's Chuck Henry? Is a teacher at VCU?
Yeah, Chuck Henry. So those guys were all 10 years older than me, but they basically encountered the same thing I encountered. All the teachers at the sculpture and in the fine art programs were guys from the 60s, and any kind of representational art was heavily frowned upon. Because those guys were from that generation of non-representational art, like conceptual driven art about blobs and about shapes and things like that. So if you did anything that was like a person or a skull or anything that represented anything, they fucking hated you. But Chuck Henry was the sweet old stoner guy who just thought everything was great. As long as you put some effort into it and had an idea behind it, he loved it. I loved him too, because I didn't go to school with those guys. I was 10 years younger, but I encountered the same thing. You had all these old guys that were running the art department that hated comics and anything representational. They couldn't stand it, and they tried to talk you out of it and say if you didn't have an idea, and an idea just had to be some sort of wispy shape or some kind of which is fine too. Yeah. I like some of that stuff too, but it's like there's room for both.
That's sort of the Anton Reemkamp thing, right?
That's exactly why,
Yeah.
you know, and it's one thing that I want to bring back to GWAR is like GWAR can hate the government and hate religion and hate the military, but it's like they also hate art, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
Cobb was basically everybody's teacher from VCU.
Yeah, so that's like seems like it came directly from almost Delaney's life experience there.
I think everybody, you know, I think
Mhm.
Don, Chuck, Hunter, Dave, they all encountered it. They all told me the same thing. They fucking just beat their head against the wall at art school.
Nice. All right. Should we do the next one?
Yeah.
All right.
Hunter did. Chuck was living in Charlottesville, though. Right, and there's Heather Broom, huh? Yeah, she was pretty hot. Mm-mm.
You met him from there.
Yeah, I met him in the dairy, right. He was auditioning people to be in his movie and stuff, you know.
Oh, really?
And we tried to help him make the movie, but of course, you know, that didn't really go. It all evolved into the band, you know. Because I remember he was trying to get us to help him make the movie, but it didn't really work because he wouldn't give us, typical Hunter, he wouldn't give us a key to his, you know, we could never get access to the movie spot because he wasn't there, and he didn't want anybody to have a key to get in, you know.
You met him in the dairy, and then Chuck started coming down, and you met Chuck just from
Yeah.
And you guys just hit it off.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, well,
Right.
Let's talk about those then.
And then we got the
Swamp.
The swamp, right? We got the space together.
Okay. So there he joined the swamp. That was him and Chuck's place in the dairy, right?
Yeah, so it sounds to me like well, I mean, I know this from Delaney. Delaney always had a real good ear for what was going on. And so I think he sort of drifted over to the dairy and wanted to give it its own space, wanted to work with Hunter. But then when that couldn't happen, Chuck and Delaney, I know this, they got their own space, which was called either So that's the living half, which was called the Den of Sin.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other half on the other side of that wall there.
Is it the Chateau of Sin?
That's the Chateau of Sin, or the
Yeah.
Den of Sin, yeah. And Neon Charlie made that sign
Yeah.
there. And so on the other side was the work half, and I've got photos of that, which
I don't know.
No,
These are a little
so
out of order.
That's very astute, yes.
Yeah.
But so because Hunter was mostly focused on the movie and everyone else was starting to focus on the band, the swamp became the GWAR like actual. Yeah, those are some pretty. It's hard to make heads or tails of this because it was cut up even more than this.
Uh-huh.
But so everybody basically, and there. So look in the top row, middle, left, smoking the cigarette or lighting the cigarette. That's Delaney. To the right of Don.
Yeah, I wish I could zoom in on this, but
yeah,
you guys can see
and
it.
then that's Ted Sanderson, and then the top four are really like the people that worked with GWAR, and then the only footage of Schaefer Court is from the guy on the far right. Oh God, what is his name? They called him Mr. Garden Hose. It'll come to me, but yeah, so. That was kind of illuminating. I guess he wandered into the dairy, started hanging out with Hunter. Chuck moved down, and then they got their own.
Was it Michael Moore?
No,
as another video guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll come to me.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. This one's about Death Piggy.
Yeah, I mean, we would go see bands. We'd go see, you know.
Did you like Death Piggy?
Yeah, I like Death Piggy.
You know,
I always liked Dave's bands, man. I like Death Piggy. Even before I met Dave, when I first heard about Dave Brockie, here's a funny story. He had got kicked out of the dorms, and I was dating this hot Korean chick. Remember her? On Kyung Cho. And she was like living in the dorms. She was an RA in the dorms, and Dave got kicked out because he took a bunch of acid and drew cartoons all the way down the fire escape for like 20 floors, man. He drew these Brocky, like, big dicks and tanks and stuff. And I saw that and I was like, I got to meet this guy, man. This guy, he's either going to go to prison or be a star, man. I know this guy is like... And my girlfriend actually introduced me to Dave. She found him and invited him to a party, my 21st birthday party. And that's the first time I met Dave. I said, yeah, bring him to the party, man, because he's got to be a nut, man, to do that. Whoever did this is just nuts. And, then I went to Death Piggy shows, and it was always fun, And Dave's flyers, I always liked Dave's art, His flyers were always the best, Death Piggy flyers.
Yeah, I mean, not too much to say about that, but
I think I have located. I think I have located a photo of part of that drawing in the dorm room.
Really?
Stairwell. Yeah, it's from a Commonwealth Times, and I'm not exactly sure if that's what it is, but I do have it somewhere. But yeah, like that's.
Was that like a widely known story? Did you know about that at the time, or you were a little too young?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I mean, any story that you tell me about Dave, I'm sure it's true.
I'm sure, yeah. All right, let's get into some early GWAR now.
Okay.
Oh, the auto track on this, I did like a humongous type voice, and I was totally ragging on the audience, going, "You losers, you Star Trek watching cretins! I'll cut your heads." I was still like ragging on them, calling losers and miscreants, and describing how we were gonna. I've never even seen this, man. This is funny.
Yeah, but you guys had it synced up on some.
Yeah, we had it synced up on the audio tape, and I was motioning, doing the humongous voice. No, GWAR wasn't even in the picture at that point. I mean, we had the Cardinal Sin. We didn't even mention GWAR, but that rocket, that huge rocket, that was something we used at Schaefer Court that Chuck was carrying.
Yeah, or no, that was Hunter.
Hunter and the Cardinal Sin outfit. Yeah, this was like just previous to Schaefer Court. I think this was the summer before that. But oh, here they come. Oh yeah.
This first movie, do you remember it all with the GWAR Must Be Destroyed? Was that kind of a combination of trying to take the GWAR and Hunter's original movie and just kind of swoosh them together a little bit?
Yeah, I think Hunter did that. He was always trying to make the movie, so he just took a bunch of GWAR stuff and tried to somehow make it into a movie. There's Don's back.
Well, I have the original Super 8 of this, so we took it right from the Super 8, so it's a lot.
Yeah, I think at this point he had abandoned, well, maybe not abandoned, but kind of changed his tack on the movie, and tried to incorporate GWAR into it.
So yeah, I guess that was a show that they had pre-recorded the entire show for like filming a movie kind of thing.
Yeah, like that. I have asked so many people about that, and it seems so confusing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was like February of '87. It was like the last alternative show, and they were working on that second failed movie. Like,
so
all right, that sounds true. The second.
Was there a project between Scumdogs of the Universe and what was that first? No, not.
So GWAR Must Be Destroyed was basically
GWAR Must Be Destroyed. Yeah,
the placeholder for Scumdogs. Like,
right.
So because the band was starting to take off and the movie was going nowhere, and by that I mean they hadn't even done a real show. Like, but because there was more people getting involved with the band, because Hunter was being a bit of a gatekeeper for his set. Mm-hmm. And other people were like, "Oh, well, there's going to be a show. We'll build them in Chuck and
Mike's room,
Mike's studio." So there was more put on the live show because it could happen easier. So everyone jumped on board for that first show, the first GWAR show at PB Kelly's.
Right. Oh, is that the footage you were watching? You said you got from Super 8? What show was that? That was the one with the pre-recording.
So what happened was Scumdog's gonna kind of put on the side, and so they said we'll make this other movie called GWAR Must Be Destroyed.
Right. Okay.
Which is gonna be the original idea with Techno coming to like Richmond and running into GWAR at a show. So it's a little different from Scumdogs, but basically the same conceptual idea. He's there to bring them back, and instead of them being all over the place, they're all this band. And they were gonna do one show. They had done 2 shows called Gwarg, and it was, all over the place. And so they were like, this will be an actual, scripted thing where the Barbarians from Outer Space are playing a decadent rock show, and Techno shows up and tries to bring him back, and they beat him up. And so that's GWAR Must Be Destroyed. But then when Hunter left for Detroit, and Ted Sanderson talked him into sort of coming back down and lending them the costumes again and finishing another movie, which was, I don't even know the name of that one. And Don and I, the whole reason we started that, unfinished documentary was, Ted Sanderson showed up with all of the Super 8 reels of it. And so in 16, and transferred it all. And I thought it'd be cool to try and figure out and actually make the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And Don was like, yeah, because I found a script too.
Really?
Yeah. But the problem was that was the script that Hunter and Ted Sanderson wrote, and Dave would never do anything, even that he wrote. Even that he wrote, he wouldn't stick to it. So it went wildly in a different direction. And
was it good? Like,
all the stuff that we found of it is great. It's
the script, like, how complete is it? Like, how long of
so the WTVR attack footage, that's what that is. Okay. So the idea is that GWAR comes to America from Antarctica. They walk there, and they filmed it all in the February of '87 when there was a big blizzard in Richmond. And so they filmed all this stuff of the Alternatives and Dave and Colette walking through the snow in these, skimpy outfits. And then they filmed a scene with Don Don was a Telecaster, and they break into the studio and they rip his head off. And that was going to be it. And so then they thought, well, we're going to film us, walking up Broad Street in the snow and going in the front door of WTVR, and then that'll be it. But instead, Dave was just like, no, let's just keep going. And the guys in the studio were like, oh, this is incredible. Let's get these guys and put them on TV. And so it's just like another, Dave thing with art imitating life. So, but that movie spiraled into a final show, which was February of '87. And that was going to be, it's basically got everything. It's got Techno, it's got Gorgor, it's got Cardinal Sin. This huge battle culminates at the show at Rockets. They recorded the demo, and then they thought like, oh, this isn't going to work. We're not going to be able to actually tape the live show. So we'll record the live show before and then have it as everybody I told no idea why it happened or whose idea it was.
But there's footage of it? Do they still have the tape of the recording they did? Or is that what the GWAR demos are?
So there's so many things and so many parts of things that I have, and they're hard to make any sense of any of them. Like a lot of the stuff, the audio tape came out on that thing I did, the Let There Be GWAR CD.
Yeah, right.
That's the kind of the Alternatives demo.
Let's see.
But there were even 2 versions of that, and it was hard for me to tell if there were 2 versions of the same songs.
Yeah, I have it there.
But so Delaney and Muscle play Cardinal Sin and Duke of Dogma, and there's some footage of them coming to seeing the outside of Rockets, and GWAR is spray painted on that. So Delaney's all over that project.
So that's probably
yeah, that's them
these
getting ready
costumes,
for
right?
it.
Oh,
I
cool.
have
Okay.
some shots of them in the snow outside of Rockets dressed as that. But that's Delaney as Cardinal Sin, and that's Dave Muscle as the Duke of Dogma.
And a lot of that footage ended up on that Shimmy Disc compilation, right?
Some of that did, absolutely, yes. And I think there's a lot of stuff that I have, and I just forget how much people have or have not seen. I'm sure there's going to be a reason to put it out at some point. I wish I could have had more of it now. This was kind of thrown together because
that's okay.
I'm so busy this year,
Yeah.
but also I just really felt this is important to sort of let people know
Yeah.
who Mike was. So.
And I wanted to answer a question. When did he pass? It was July 22nd, 2025.
Yeah.
So pretty recently.
Very recently, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. We got some questions. Well, we'll do this later. That's not about Delaney. Come on, keep it on topic.
I think someone asked a question. Was Delaney still involved in Scumdogs?
Right, yeah.
No, he had moved to Philly by that point. I didn't meet him until later. I actually met him at Cedar Crest. But no, he had phased out after Hello came out. After I think he moved to Philly like 2 months after the album release show. So when I saw him as Frankenref, he kind of didn't play any more things live. After the summer of like 87, early 88, he moved to Philly.
Yeah. All right, let's keep this train rolling. Here's a little bit more about the swamp.
No, the swamp where we were at the swamp was like GWAR Central. That was like where all the props were made and everything. Yeah, at that point the movie project was just like out the window, and everybody was making stuff for the band, and that's what Don and all these people started coming around. A lot of people, Jack Fralin. I mean, the swamp. I mean, people used to come up there just to hang out and party. They were partying, we would like pull the Tom Sawyer on them and make them build props for us and stuff. Like, while you're sitting here and drinking beer, why don't you make us some props? We're making props. Why are you sitting around drinking beer? If you want to drink our beer, you better make some props, So even like chicks or whoever, we'd like, grab a paintbrush and start painting that thing.
So that might be...
Oh, I'll tell you a funny swamp story. One of my favorite is one night we were up there making props, and some guy came up, some friend of Chuck, some artist, and brought a couple of chicks. So we were like, yeah, all right. Man. And we were, drinking beer, making GWAR props, and listening to Kiss Alive, And these girls were like, oh, no, we don't like Kiss Alive. They went and took off Kiss Alive and like, I don't know what they put on, but just that they took off Kiss Alive, we threw them out. Get out. The audacity. How dare you? Yeah, I knew him pretty well, but most of the musicians didn't really participate in making the props, and they still don't to this day, Except for Casey Orr.
Is that true?
They've got other things to do.
Yeah,
so yeah,
everyone's got their role.
Casey is the one that we'll throw down. So absolutely. Someone asked what your favorite thing was.
Yes.
When you play the next clip, I'm going to go in the next room, and I got an artifact that I forgot to take to LA for the art show, but I have in the next room that I want people to see that sort of shows Delaney's imprint on GWAR.
Excellent. All right, well let's play the next clip. This one's about influences, so perfect.
Cool.
No, we were all into like comic books and Big Daddy Roth and stuff. I don't think, and Kiss, I guess too. But I hate to make the Kiss reference, though.
No, what I mean,
But I do like Kiss.
Right. But yeah, like everyone was in the same
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody was all the same mindset and kind of a meeting of the minds, a melding of the minds.
That was a short one. Yeah, let me do the next one.
This character, was he always always supposed to be like the Catholic KKK moralizing kind of guy.
Uh-huh.
He was supposed to be the authority, like you're so decadent and evil. Or...
Yeah, right. Yeah, always come out and tell the audience how decadent they were and what a bunch of miscreants, miserable miscreants. They all deserve to die. Yeah, I kind of fashioned him after Torquemada from that comic book. 'Cause that was one of my favorite comic books.
Comic book?
What was the name of that comic? I can't remember now. But Nemesis. Yeah, Nemesis. Nemesis the Warlock, right. And Torquemada, I mean, that was kind of a little inspiration there. And, you know, definitely. Because that was really popular at the time. That was like I read a lot of Nemesis.
Yeah, I was asking Hunter about Cardinal Sin and about Delaney's influence, because I thought that, you know, it's kind of hard to make sense, but I feel like, you know, Cardinal Sin isn't all Hunters. It's a lot Delaney's, and, you know, he kind of talks about like Nemesis the Warlock and Torquemada, who's the weird Grand Inquisitor. I don't know, you know, any of those 2000.
No, I don't, but I'll look them up later.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, all that stuff that, like, when they came to America, it was martial law. You know, that it's all this stuff that Judge Dredd sort of stuff, 2000 AD kind of British. All that stuff was very influential on Gwar, and he's basically like a Klansman / Vatican kind of guy, and that's who Cardinal Sin kind of moved into. He was called the Sultan of Sin early on, and I'm not exactly sure. Delaney and Hunter's versions are kind of different. Yeah, you can see that's the traffic cone. That's the later version. You can see that other version that it's more technological. That one, and then it turned into the one. So the picture you see Delaney working with Hunter, that one. Get back there. Yeah, so that's on the right is Cardinal Sin, and on the left is Duke of Dogma, and that's Delaney. But you can see the flyer for the February '87 show up there on the thing.
Detail, yeah.
So that's a pretty, and you can see part of the Cardinal Sin shoulder pad there being made, and the back plate Hunter's painting.
I'm interested in what tapes are in that tape rack.
Yeah, I've got a 35
just alive, I
millimeter.
guess.
I've got a 35 millimeter slide of that. But it's so dark, it's hard to zoom in. I think I zoomed in on it and I couldn't tell, but I know ZZ Top was one of them.
Okay.
But here is my favorite. I don't know if there was a mold of this. I know there's two of these. I know Bonner got one as a gift when he got out of jail. But this is
let's full screen you.
Yeah, this is a real early Delaney.
Was that for Gwar or just a Delaney?
I think it was for Gwar, and I don't know there were two of these. There must have been a mold. But I just love how insanely crude and ridiculous and awesome it is. But it really,
how heavy is that?
Alan said it really influenced him for the 93 like beefcake shoulder pad.
I see that totally.
Yeah.
Did he make those or the shoulder pads?
Don did.
Okay. Yeah.
Don did. But you can see that's very, very similar to that Delaney. And I don't know how there were two of them, but I'm assuming there was some early proto mold. I don't know, because, you know, I just remember there were two of them laying around when I was first there, and they were identical. And when Bonner got out of jail, we had a party for him, and we gave him one of those that everybody in the band signed. And I was just wasn't even in the band yet. I was just hanging around, sort of adjacent, but
looks kind of like that skull from Live from Antarctica a little bit too. So.
Well, yeah, all that is very, Chuck and Delaney's art was really, sometimes there'll be a skull that one of them drew, and I would have to ask Chuck, which one of them drew it, because their styles back then were so similar.
Yeah. Let's see. What inspired the design for his characters? I guess those comic books and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
just all this stuff that I think the reason why those guys all fell in together is because they all had the same influences and were having the same problem at school. You know, the low art being not the where it is now, you know, wasn't considered anything worth anything in art school then, you know. So I think those guys were way ahead of their time as far as recognizing where culture was going to go and just saying, no, this stuff is great. You know, you're wrong.
Finally, 40 years later, people are recognizing it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to answer this one, but why did Bonner go to jail?
Oh, well, it's no mystery of it. He
Okay.
was AWOL. Like he was
Uh-huh.
AWOL.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. He turned himself in. He just was
Mhm.
like, this is hanging over me. I just want to turn myself in and do my time. And then he got out and was,
Yes.
you know, a free man. So
Excellent. There's some more questions in there. We'll sprinkle them in as we go along. Let's keep
Alrighty.
going.
What about the Antarctic ant?
The Antarctic ant, yeah. Me and Chuck worked on that collaboratively. I think I made the helmet, and I made that actually for the movie, and then they decided to adapt it, and you know, he might have made the arms or something. You know, it was all a big collaborative effort.
So I sent you a picture of him hot gluing the helmet at Hunter's in Hunter's studio. It's a color. He's wearing a Philly. Yeah. So you can see Chuck there in the background wearing the ant helmet and costume, and Hunter in the back working there. But that's Hunter's. That's the slave pit.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting about that is the round edge in the middle. That's one of the milk bottles.
Right. Okay. And that's where like the spaceship was going to be, right?
Yeah. You can't see that. You'd have to be facing the other way. But that's Hunter. That's the actual slave pit.
And is this ant costume? Has it survived in any form?
No. I think there's a picture of it. Maybe I sent it to you, a black and white one from Rockets. But that's when I think you see Chuck must have worn it and got it destroyed because that's him laying in the wreckage of the Antarctic ant on the ground, and Joey Slutman like has destroyed.
There's another one.
That's
probably you can see a little bit better.
I didn't send you the picture, but I guess I should have realized that I think he was in the ant costume. There I have a picture of him of the ant costume. So the ant kind of was a forerunner of the Chernobyl cockroach, you know, as far as, and then later on we made it into the same thing, into one of the Mr. Perfect sex drones. It's just basically like you've got your arms and you've got the cables that hang down. You've got the middle arms that make the thing. But yeah, the Antarctic ant was really was just cardboard and a little bit of cloth and glue, and I think it got destroyed in that. I think that's the second GWAR show, the one at Rockets, Halloween of '85, and I think it just got built for that show and got destroyed. And so then Don made the Chernobyl cockroach out of rubber, which was the first rubber costume.
Gotcha. You know what publication this is from?
Oh, that's from Throttle.
Okay.
Yeah, it says it down in the corner.
Yeah. Sweet. Let's keep going. This is about AtlantaCon. So this is some of that early stuff.
But I'll tell you a funny story about that Atlanta, the science fiction show when we me and Chuck, we went back later during the award ceremony after we had come out, and of course I came out at did the humongous voice, and I was like, "Oh, you miscreants all must die, you losers!" And totally berated the audience, and told them all they all had small dicks and stuff, And so later during the award ceremony, and Stan Lee was one of the judges too. That was pretty cool. We got to party with Stan Lee late, and not because of that, but just during the course of the thing, we got to party with John Ramita and Stan Lee. Yeah, we went to go to their private party and drink all their liquor and stuff. But me and Chuck got this bottle of cheap wine, and we're sitting in the back, like during the awards ceremony, sucking down wine. And they announced that we had won, first prize for whatever, whatever it was, most creative costume. And no one was there but me and Chuck. We're like sitting in the back, drinking out of a paper bag. And so I run up on stage to get the award from Stan Lee, and I was like, and everybody booed. They must have remembered our rant, And everybody was like, boo, boo, And then I totally postured. I was like, had to give him one of these, like. Oh, that was classic.
So this should be big news, you guys. Stan Lee gave GWAR an award in the 80s.
So the Fantasy Fair, which became Comic-Con, GWAR
Dragon Con, right?
Yeah, it became Dragon Con, excuse me. It was originally the Atlanta Fantasy Fair, and it turned into Dragon Con. GWAR went 3 years in a row, and the first year, GWAR, it wasn't even GWAR, it was just Chuck and
Hunter
and Heather Broom, and then they did the thing to the Death Piggy, but the time he's talking about was like either 86 or 87, and I've got all that footage. I recovered all that footage, surprisingly. Incredible. And that year that GWAR went, and Hunter's playing Duke of Dogma. Because I guess he was like, I've been techno a bunch of years. I'm going to be Duke of Dogma. Delaney was Cardinal Sin. I guess Chuck was Gorgor. And it was Dave was Odorous and Colette was GWAR Woman. And,
Dave was there too?
Oh, yeah. And they come out and there's like a curtain, and they come out and Gorgor's walking around. I mean, he looks like a Von Baudet drawing. It's so incredible to see him on a big stage. It's really interesting footage. I don't know where it came from. I got it third hand. I got it from somebody from Atlanta Fantasy Fair. But yeah, they won an award that year. And
who has that award? Do you know where the award
is? I have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
Stan Lee touched it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I think Chuck told me a story where when he got up there, like Delaney was posturing and Chuck got up there. It was before he, went through AA, and Chuck was super drunk on wine and got up in Stanley's face and said, "What about Jack?"
Oh no!
I don't know if that's true or not, but I think Chuck told me that one time, which is pretty awesome because obviously Jack Kirby's one of the hugest influences on GWAR.
Right. Was there like a soundtrack to that performance or a music?
No, it's basically I'll have to look at the footage again. It's been a minute since I looked at the footage. But no, the first year it's basically just pre-GWAR, and it's a Death Piggy soundtrack. The second year I can't remember, and then the third year it's like them as GWAR legit and in full force. And Hunter, who's Duke of Dogma, has one of the giant missiles. It's really freaking cool. Like, it's great footage. I hope I can find something to do with it because we'll share it eventually.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. All right, let's go bananas. Going bananas.
Okay. The first GWAR gig I did was at PB Kelly's.
Okay.
Long before this.
The first GWAR show ever.
No, it wasn't the first GWAR show ever. The first GWAR show ever, I think, was at Going Bananas.
Okay.
I was going to this bar, and they were warming up for Death Piggy.
Right.
They came out and they did a little fake thing, and I was actually there too.
Okay.
And Dave brought out the juice. He brought out this big pot of and we had. The funny thing is, I was there with what's his name? I'd snuck in the back with something. I didn't even know Chuck then.
Okay.
And I'd snuck in, which was even cooler. We totally snuck in the back door, and Dave was running around. They were doing their GWAR thing, and he had this bucket of muckluck that he had made with hot dogs and baked beans and mixed vegetables and stuff. He's like, the juice. You must try the juice, Crazy Jimmy, I was there with Crazy Jimmy, so we were up front going like, give us the juice. And I think that was one of the first GWAR shows ever.
Who's Crazy Jimmy?
Okay, well, first things first. So that's the discrepancy. People that remember the first GWAR show, that's what I call in the family tree because it was spelled different on the flyer and it didn't really have a plot. So that's a GWAR show. That's April 5th, 85 at Going Bananas.
Right.
It was one before that at the 930 Club. But so...
Is that the 930 Club? That's the Suicidal Tendencies one?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, which the only flyer I have for that is just, it says Death Piggy and Suicidal. But there was GWAR Goal opened up for that as well. But none of those had really a plot. They were just like Death Piggy. They were just like Dave had a pot of muck luck and threw it on people, or there was a mock execution. It was just some random like weirdness going on. It wasn't until that first PB Kelly show where Hunter is playing techno and it's really like it's called GWAR and all that. So there's a little discrepancy there. But Crazy Jimmy was the horn player. He's still around. Like
he played with Death Piggy. Oh, I want to talk to that guy.
Yeah, I can probably find his number. He's around
because I was like,
he's got a piece of Delaney's art that I was trying to buy from him. And then, he was, I don't know. He's a character, man. He's bonkers. He's awesome. But
they do call him Crazy Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, and so Crazy Jimmy Garthoff was sort of in Death Piggy as the horn player, and there's photographic evidence and stuff like that. So, that's the GWAR Goal era of GWAR.
Right. Yeah, when I talked to Mike Bishop, he said that they would just kind of come out and make feedback and like say that they're a band, but not like play any songs.
Yeah,
it was probably something like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like I've got in the interview I did with Dave. He said we were like a free form, noise band, and that means that we didn't have to practice or have actual songs. It was like just another excuse to.
Nice. All right, let's. So this one's about the PB Kelly's show.
Oh, cool.
The PB Kelly show.
The PB Kelly show. I was hanging out in the audience, and they needed somebody to be the executioner, And Dave's just like, "Hey, you want to?" I was hanging out there, and he said, "Hey, Spike, why don't you do it?"
So you killed the unicorn at that show.
Yeah, that's the one where I beheaded the unicorn and ate its guts and stuff on stage. And actually, he didn't want me to do it. And Hunter talks, yeah, let him do it. Dave's like, nah, it's all right.
Yeah. So you can see like in the second show where Delaney's laying on the floor, it's actually Brocky who's ripping the so the unicorn became a seal. So that's Brocky with a Fu Manchu mustache and beard glued on his face. And he's killing the seal. There's a song, oddly enough, there's an unreleased song that I have parts of called Save the Seals.
Right, I saw that on a set list, I think. What was that like?
Well, it's just basically save the seals,
Yeah.
save the seals for us. So it's like don't kill the seals. We want to kill the seals.
Right.
And so they had a seal because the unicorn I think got broken. It was a hobby horse, and I think
you
got
rip it
shattered.
up like crazy
Yeah,
on those shows.
It got shattered or something. I don't know. Everyone's got a different version of it, but so it's typical Brocky, like you be the executioner. Wait, no, I want to do everything. No, you're not the executioner.
Right.
I'm going to do it. And then Hunter was like, no, someone else should do it. But the footage I have of Spike being the executioner, he had that, and I think this is one of the props that got stolen real early on, was that Greek warlord helmet that sort of had the big long fin. I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of that. Like, I think it got stolen real early on. So yeah, but that was what the executioner wore before the the one that Chuck started wearing with the Big Daddy Roth eyes and the big horns.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. This one's a real short one about the alternatives.
Oh yeah, we got along. I mean, because some of those guys like Jim Thompson and Bopes, and I don't know about Bopes, some of those guys lived at the dairy, so we were all like one big commune, happy family, you know.
Yeah. Speaks for itself. Let's go to the next one about Joey Slutman.
He quit. Well, let's talk about Joey then. You kind of knew Joey, right?
Yeah, I know Joey.
What was he all about? What was his deal?
I don't know. I guess he was just more into the heavy metal thing or something. I don't know. I don't know why he quit. You'll have to ask Dave that. But
like, let's say him, like, his persona on stage, he'd get really into it, though, right?
oh yeah, he was into it, and he definitely had the humongous voice. You know, you could tell from the recordings. He had the really deep, you know, heavy metal voice. You know.
But like when
Not even heavy metal. I don't know what you call that. The hardcore voice or something. You know.
But let's say like when you got in a fight with him on stage, I've always heard that he was like.
Oh yeah, he would wail on you, man. He almost knocked me out in one show. He just like he didn't know how to pull back, man.
Because it wasn't an act to him, you think, because he was so serious
I
about
think
it?
he was pretty psyched about it. Yeah.
Well, if you want to hear his story, check out his episode on the GWARPod. We talked to Joey here.
Cool, I figured.
Yeah. He was like, I don't really talk about GWAR in interviews, but I'll do it for you. I'm like, all right, thank you. Yeah, so go check it out, you guys. Give it some views.
I need to watch it, yeah.
I know that you could learn a lot from this show, probably.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm always learning, for sure.
You got to watch that Neon Charlie, man.
Well, you know, I'll tell you this, and I don't know if people know this, but when I first started coming around, the sin sign was still intact, and it got put in the yard and got broken. And about that time, the W of the GWAR sign got broken. And so I just was like, wait a minute. And I just took it and put it on a shelf. And about 10 years ago, Neon Charlie like helped me get the W replaced.
Is that why it's a different color?
Well, we didn't know what the original was. So he took me to his friend, and he blew the new W right in front of us. And we just kind of guessed. And so when we plugged it in, it was like, oh, okay, different color. But it kind of makes it, you know, it's not the original. So
yeah,
it's kind of, but yeah, I mean,
from the original guy, so it's still cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. All right. I think he's gonna riff on Don here. I think because Don was behind the camera for this, so he was also in the room. Just
yeah.
Yeah.
It was me and Don doing the interviews.
Yeah. So I think they're kind of interacting here.
Don, we even convinced Don to come over and do some work.
When did Don get his space?
Huh?
When did Don get his space?
When his girlfriend kicked him out, I think. That's when Don really got into it, I think. He could focus all his energy. When he finally got rid of Cindy, he could focus all his energies on GWAR. He needed something to fill his time.
And so things were
Before that, he scoffed. I have to say, he scoffed at GWAR. He said, you guys are wasting your time. But once he broke up with Cindy and got a space at the dairy, then he had nothing better to do than... That's when he started working on the Antarctic, or the giant cockroach and stuff. The rest is history.
That's why you joined GWAR. You got nothing else to do.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's right from the horse's mouth, the cockroach.
There you go. All right, let's hear about Schaefer Court, my favorite mythical GWAR show that I am just obsessed about.
How long did you guys?
That was the big production, yeah.
How long did you guys throw down for that?
God, months, man, for the Schaefer Court show.
Yeah, you guys were making the jet engine.
Yeah, the jet engine, the meat grinder. Yeah, see, a lot of that stuff was, I have to admit, it was Hunter's ideas, or different people would come up with it, but him and Dave or whoever would come up with ideas, and then we would just act on them. And the meat grinder, that was something that was one of my babies, I have to say. I think someone mentioned it, you know, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had a cool big meat grinder? And I jumped on it and said, "Yeah, we can make that." And that was a GWAR mainstay for a long time.
Yeah, still sort of is.
I mean, I know Dave Muscle and different people adapted it. Oh yeah, I'm sure most people at that Schaefer Court show were probably the first outdoor show. Were probably there was a lot of people there. Schaefer Court was like a big public, free show, so there's thousands of people there, and I'm sure they were just blown away by it. I mean, who wouldn't be? You see all this freaky shit going on, the meat grinder, the giant aircraft engine coming down. That was a piece of engineering, man. That's never been duplicated. An aircraft engine on a wire come flying down from the back of the from the back of the audience, just smash into the stage.
Yeah, you guys worked for months on that.
Oh yeah, we worked for months, man. I remember going out to shows and people like Bopes or people like, "Where have you been? I haven't seen you. I thought you left town, man. I haven't seen you for 6 months." Because all we would do was hang out at the dairy, and everybody would come over there and just drink beer. I didn't have to go out, man. That was the scene, and people would come there, to hang out and drink beer and work on GWAR props or whatever. The only time I went out was to see a Red Hot Chili Peppers show.
Where'd you see that at?
At Rockets. They played it, and I'd never heard of them. People were like, "Hey, go see Red Hot Chili Peppers." Yeah, I think so. Even Neon Charlie was like up on a chair wearing some weird neon on his helmet or something. The Watcher, yeah.
So
That's a lot crammed in there. There's a lot of crammed in history.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that Schaefer Court, that is crammed in history. That's a good way to put it.
Well, so the guy's name was Jim Roberts, Mr. Garden Hose. I located him. He lives in a shack in like Oregon, and he sent me all of the stuff he had. But he was like a video artist, which was really edgy in 1986, right? So he would film stuff and then he'd chop it up and make little like MTV kind of like.
Yeah.
And so the only footage of Schaefer Court is a chopped up version, right?
And is that the music video that's also on the shimmy disc thing, or is there more to it?
There's more, yeah, but it's all chopped up. So, and I have a script. That actually was followed because you couldn't go off script. Like Dave couldn't go off script because it was there was a narrator that sat on. There was a newscaster that sat on stage and narrated the show.
Who played that guy?
It'll come to me.
Yeah, and did that guy have a?
That show probably had 30 people. Like, the terrorists took over the stage. They blew up a jet engine in midair, and the big engine flew down, and like that. I've got that footage, which is bonkers. Like, if I could ever get the whole show, it would just be. But Delaney's playing Cardinal Sin, and Dave hits him with the. He's talking about Joey Slutman being too rough, but Dave hit him hyperextended. It hit him over the bridge of the nose and almost broke his nose with the because that Cardinal Sin, the helmet is a traffic cone,
right?
So there's no structure to it at all, and your nose was right there. So yeah. But he came out in the trike he was talking about that he made for Sculpture. But Cardinal Sin originally rode like this Big Daddy Roth trike. We thought about bringing that back a couple times. It never worked out. But
that vehicle from the parade.
Yep, it's in the parade.
Yeah, I have some pictures of that. I think he talks about that. So wait, I have some pictures from Schaefer Court and the rehearsals. So I don't know if he's in any of these, but you guys can get a sense of all the craziness happening.
So there's the jet engine in production. There Chuck is
setting it up on stage. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Some audience members. Dirt Woman, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess this is the show here.
Yeah, Don, this was the first time Don played Sleazy. I think that was the debut of Sleazy. The debut of GWAR Serial, which of course made it to That's some audience members. That's not a
Right.
Yeah, when those color ones showed up,
There's the sin sign.
Yeah.
Is that where
Oh,
Charlie was
that's
sitting?
That's a different one, but that's
Oh,
Charlie sitting
that's
up
the next
there.
Shaper Court show.
What's that?
This is a
No,
different.
that's the first one. That's the first one.
Okay, I mean, oh, you meant the sign, not the show.
What's that now?
You meant that it's a different sign, not a different show.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what neon sign that is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lots of craziness.
Yeah.
What's this pointed? Oh, is that a sword or a helmet? I can't even.
Okay,
tell.
that's a missile. So
Oh.
when this church, people broke into this church downtown that was gutted, and there was an organ in there, and there are all these brass tubes, and they made these missiles out of these brass tubes for the Flood Zone show. The Flood Zone show is another show that apparently was filmed, and that is lost.
Oh man,
I've got footage of the opening bands, but no Flood Zone show, and it had like a nuclear standoff apparently. But there you can see the missile in the background.
Oh yeah,
these are all Cindy Hicks photos. Yeah, I don't know who the color slides. I saw them on Flickr years ago. Yeah, you can see there's a ton of extras.
There's so many people here.
Yeah,
it's so interesting. There's all like this giant gun.
There were 2 sets of terrorists apparently. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So apparently, Cardinal Sin rides on stage in the trike with the Duke of Dogma. There's like a piss test.
I don't know if there's any pictures.
Like test for drugs, and then the bucket of piss gets thrown in Odoris's face, and then on the crowd. It was early spew.
Great. Yeah. So, anyways, Shaper Court, amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Now he's going to talk about Dave Muscle.
When did Muscle come into the picture? How did you know him?
I knew him before I moved into the dairy.
Most people claim that you were the one that brought him around the first. How did you know Dave Muscle to begin with?
I knew him from VCU. I brought him around because he was a friend of mine, and he came over to the dairy to see me, and he was like, sitting around drinking beer, and decided he would make some stuff. We're all sitting around, and Dave's got that throwdown gene. He just can't resist, making stuff. So.
Yeah, I don't think there's been another show like that.
I'm really gonna try hard to get Muscle on here, man. It's really important to me.
I'd really like to talk to him. Scott Crawl, and who's the other one that I'm missing? Bonner. Yeah, I want Bonner too.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like they're tough nuts to crack.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I wanted to say this, that's really like that last little clip kind of speaks to who Delaney was, as far as just jumping on a bandwagon or knowing a lot of people, or just being a really good spirit about like, well, we're just doing it because it's cool,
Yeah.
Which is kind of a lost kind of thing.
Right. Okay, so here, he's going to talk about that vehicle, death machine, I think he calls it. Let's see.
The first thing me and Dave made was the wheelchair of death, man, the death machine, which is long since departed, but was a real work of art, man. It was a real piece of work. The Deathmobile. I don't even think that ever made it to any GWAR shows. I think it just. Oh no, it was. Yeah, it was at Shafer Court, right? With the spinning fan blade and the.
It's awesome. It's totally awesome.
I don't know what happened to it, but yeah, me and Dave kind of collaborated on that. He did a lot of work on it.
Yeah, it's got running lights and it's got
that working fan motor, man, running lights, blown Hemi motor, supercharged.
That before Cardinal Sin was actually the driver of the hot rod, the murder chair.
The murder chair.
Didn't you drive it up the Broad Street or up?
Oh yeah, in the parade, right?
Yeah, what was that all about?
Right, that was like I don't know.
Some kind of
some sort of Jubilee, June Jubilee, Richmond Renaissance.
I mean, you just guys trying to drum up like some kind of like?
I don't know. Some guy at the dairy got money from them. You know, talk about money. They paid us like $500 to be in the parade, just as the dairy. You know, and of course, you know, GWAR took over the whole thing because that was the most that was happening at the dairy, besides like some painters and, you know, whatever t-shirt guys. And yeah, so we had Gorgor on a float, you know, with a guy pulling him, and Hunter skating around dressed as Techno Destructo, and I was wheeling around as in the murder chair. And
yeah, I think you had like the ant helmet on. I guess the ant.
Yeah, I guess I had the Antarctic ant. That was before Cardinal Sin, so I just grabbed the whatever Antarctic ant helmet and was battling with various members as we wheeled through the city.
Well, then let's say.
And then we had a big party later with the money. Yay!
All right, I think I got some pictures here.
Yep, there.
What's the deal with this thing? What
I
do you
mean,
know about it?
It kind of just speaks to the sort of Roth, you know, kind of car culture that Delaney kind of brought to the GWAR gene pool, because, you know, like, I think a lot of people like Chuck and Don and Hunter all like Big Daddy Roth, but Spike was like a car guy. Like, he always had old cars and always like Mopar and stuff like that. So I think he, you know, but yeah, I think it's just a wheelchair turned around backwards where you kneeled in it, from my understanding. And but the cool thing is that they put a box fan on the front of it and muscle rigged it up with some kind of like battery, so it looks like it's a, you know, a fan from the front of a car, like a radiator fan, but it's just a box fan. But it had running taillights and everything, and I know that's the muscle part of it. Like, he made all that shit work. But
what a collaboration.
Yeah, I think it was too big, and when they downsized, they just put it in the yard and it just like rained on it and it disintegrated or whatever. You know, I think that's just that's just what happened at the time, because there was no room to store anything. But yeah, I mean, that kind of really encapsulates, you know, kind of Delaney's early influence on GWAR's trajectory, you know.
Nice. Yeah. All right, we're getting towards the end of this interview. Let's see what this one is.
It seemed like you played Cardinal Sin quite a bit.
Yeah.
That was like a main character you play.
Right.
You played Gorgor.
I did some Gorgor, yeah, a couple times. Sexicutioner.
So, but you were a victim, or was pretty much just every show was different and you just kind of come up with?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, every show was pretty much different, whatever needed to be done. I did the Cardinal Sin a couple of times. But I mean, before Cardinal Sin, I was the Sexicutioner or Gorgor or Rockets. I did some Sexicutioner stuff. That was one of my favorite shows, man. I did when I was Sexicutioner at Rockets when they used to do Satan is Our Lord.
Now, I heard that was like a really early thing that didn't last very long.
Yeah, Hunter in particular, I think, didn't want to do that because he was afraid of the, you know, religious repercussions. Satan is Our Lord, which later became another song. I don't remember. Gorgor, yeah, the Gorgor song. But I was a Sexicutioner and lit off these fireworks on this pentagram, this flaming pentagram. It was classic. I wish I had a tape of that. I was holding up you know, I think I got a little scorched from the pyrotechnics, man. They're shooting off pyrotechnics, and there's this.
But didn't Chuck introduce the show as Satan himself?
I think he did. I think he came out Chuck dressed as Satan, and
It was like clay on his face or something real shitty.
Right. And then I like bust a bunch of blood bags on my face and lit up this like pentagram with like sparklers. Well, the pyrotechnics went off, and the band was playing "Satan Is Our Lord." I guess.
It's kind of cool that didn't last too long.
Yeah, I guess they didn't. Yeah, that was fun for. I could see where that could have repercussions. You know?
Satan is our Lord, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, what I think he's talking about is I think he's talking about AEIOU, because if you listen to those, he goes, these are Satan's vowels, these are Gorgor's vowels. And if you, I've got some footage of a pentagram with AEIOU on it.
Oh, okay.
Those are Satan's vowels. It's just
That's
some
funny.
Brocky, like weirdo, like nonsense idea. But I think, and I asked Hunter after this interview, I interviewed Hunter. This was all 2002, I believe.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. It might have been 2001. It might have been 2000. I can't actually remember.
Wow, that's like 25 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. But the footage I've got, I guess it was a mainstay where they had, for that song, they had a pentagram. And it was like, oh, we're making fun of heavy metal.
Right.
We got to make fun, Slayer. We got to make fun of the pentagram and that. And so after I did the interview with Delaney, I asked Hunter that, and he was just like, yeah, that, like we're forming our own mythology. Like that's tired shit. Like let's, and I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like everyone does that. Even if you're making fun of it, it gets kind of tired. Like let's move on. Like it's kind of lazy, like. Let's form our own mythology. And so I was like kind of impressed, like, oh yeah. So I feel like what he's talking about was AEIOU, because in the footage you can see the pentagram with the vowels on it. And if you listen to the song, these are Satan's vowels, and then he says these are Gorgor's vowels. And so when Mike said that became Gorgor, I don't think the song became Gorgor. I think the song became about I think it's AEI.
There was also like an early Gorgor theme song that was just like nonsense.
Well, it was Cold Gin.
Oh, well, I mean, on the Let There Be Gwar demo, there's like a Gorgor song, isn't there?
Right. Well, there's a noise jam, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
edited it out because for like I didn't want to get sued for using.
Oh,
but the early was dun 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 dun
That's
dun Gore. It was Cold Gin, but it was just Gorgor.
There's
right?
more Kiss
So,
influence for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what he doesn't talk about, and where the footage I know there's more, is him talking about Devo, and I want to really stress that is that like Kiss is awesome and great, but I think conceptually an influence on Gwar that's much heavier is Devo, and he brought it up, but I don't think that made it. I think this is. I talked to him for like an hour and a half, but I think this is just the stuff that made it the cut about Gwar, because he kind of went off on a bunch of tangents, and one of them was like seeing Devo in '80 at the mosque and how important that was for people that were in Gwar. And so I just want to stress that, even though that like Kiss is cool and everything. But.
Right. Well, we'll get back into Devo a little bit later.
Yeah.
But thank you, Thomas. Mike wearing a wig on his interview with Don was peaked. Do you know what he's talking about here? No.
Oh, so Don had that short-lived.
Oh yeah. Mike was on his. What did you do?
I
in
need
the
to
Gwar
see that.
Day?
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I
but
watched that. That was like not too long ago, like a year ago or so. So that's probably
great.
the last
I'm so glad he did
interview
it. I
with
didn't
Mike.
know. I didn't.
Yeah, so everybody, you should go check out Don's short-lived show. It's so funny. Don was on one of the first episodes here, and he's like, "Oh, we should do this like every week." I'm like, "I don't know, man. That's like a lot." He's like, "Oh, well." And then he started that, and yeah, after like 5 episodes, it was like a little tough. It was pretty funny.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, it is tough, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like I really wanted to support everything that Don was doing, but it was like,
sure.
dude, like I'm this what I do here. Building stuff and then touring, like that's all I fucking got. Like even during COVID when we did that thing, it was rough for us to do, that history minute I did, and I wasn't doing any of the editing, but it was hard to even do that much content. That shit is a full-time job.
You should put that whole COVID show on DVD, man. Anyways,
well, I want to bring
a whole other situation.
We all got a million ideas.
Yeah,
and
of course.
We can have them all come out. So we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, totally. This is a good question. I also had from John Pop. How did Spike get his nickname? Do you know anything about that?
I don't, but like
it rhymes with Mike, I guess.
I I just hung out with his son, who's a spitting image of him.
Oh wow!
And his wife. They live in Cincinnati, and we just played there, and I spent the entire evening with them. They're great. You know, half of Spike's life was in Philly or up north, and I think it's just kind of like
something that followed him.
William is Bill, and Mike is Spike. I mean, some people called him Ike, some people called him Spike, some people called him Mike. It was almost like all interchangeable with the guy, but it was, you know, I just thought I didn't know anybody named Spike. It was always funny. That's what I always called him.
It's pretty rock and roll.
Yeah.
All right, this one he's talking about Bonner.
Is that Bonner?
Yeah. This is probably Rick Bonner's first show, I believe.
Right.
Which I've yet
That's
to get.
funny.
I gotta get his interview next, but
Yeah, Bonner.
were you around when that whole thing went down? When he showed up? When AWOL just showed up?
Oh, when Bonner?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We met him, I think, at Rockets, man. What happened? Me and Chuck and whoever, we were partying at Rockets, and we met him and a bunch of his Navy buddies, and they were, you know, on leave or something. They had just got back from Lebanon. It was like, I guess it was 80 something. It was, I guess Reagan was still president. But it was right after, like, there was some shit going on in Lebanon. The embassy got bombed, and there was some, you know, and there's, you know, I don't know. Bonner just, I don't think that had anything to do with it. Bonner just decided he had enough of the Navy. So we took him back to the dairy. We'd been partying with him. We said, yeah, come on back to the dairy. We'll party some more, you know. And they spent the night there, you know, and we let him crash. And the next day, all his buddies went back to Norfolk, and Bonner stayed. I mean, we were like, I said, Mike, your buddies left. Don't you want to go with them? And he's like, nah, I'm going to stay. And I said, what? What are you talking about? Get out of here. You can't stay here, man. You know.
He became part of the family.
But yeah, he got a place and got a job. And I was kind of worried he was just going to, like, sleep on my couch for about 2 months, you know. But, you know, Mike, he went out and got a job, got himself he lived at the dairy. He got rented a little cubby hole there, a little hovel, and just hung out. And he just, okay. Yeah, just hung out. And the rest is history.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, so when I interviewed Bonner about the incident, but I don't want to spend too far off, but everybody had that same story, that Bonner showed up, partied, and then never left. And then when I asked Bonner the story, he was like, well, you know, this is something I know. People compress things that took several months into one incident. He was stationed in Norfolk, went to King's Dominion, which is a local, like, theme park, stopped back in Richmond, and I guess he took acid and saw Milk, which was a Dave Brocky dairy band, kind of lost his mind and went to the dairy and was like, oh my God, this is incredible. Went back to the ship. Next weekend came back, partied with everybody, took acid, drank beer. And over the course, he just was like, eventually he just never went back to the boat. But it took, like, you know, a month or 5 weeks. Everyone remembers it happening in one evening.
Right.
But Bonner was like, no. It was like a war of attrition. You know, it happened slowly. And eventually I was just like, no, I'm not going back. And so, you know, eventually he just turned himself in and did his time so he wouldn't have that hanging over his head. But he was living, you know,
just so everyone sees, go check out this channel, John's channel. What did you do in the GWAR, Daddy? And one of his last episodes, it was a year ago with Mike Delaney. So check it out. You can hear some of it from his own perspective here. All right, we're almost done with this interview. Let's hear about the women in GWAR.
Really cool. Everyone's kind of the same.
And Colette would be like, no, let's make a giant flower. Yeah, she was just, you know, out here somewhere, so I don't think anybody really paid her any attention. She was just kind of like, you know.
But pretty much, though, you think...
She was the GWAR girl. She was just like, you know, up there to look good and, you know, show her assets.
Well, what about Heather? What about the first one? She was pretty. She had pretty good ideas, or would she throw? She would throw down a lot, though, wouldn't she?
Nah, same thing. She was just a bimbo too. She was just out there to show off her assets. She wouldn't throw down at all, man. In fact, Colette threw down more. Colette was actually somewhat of an artist, so you could actually give her a paintbrush and have her, do something. Of course, she might paint flowers on it, There's no telling.
Well, now she does wings instead of flowers.
Yeah. Well,
And,
I mean, Philly Mike. So, you can take the you can take the jersey out of.
Yeah. Hey guys, you wanna listen to Colette tell her story? Check out her episode of the GWARPod. I got some shit for having her on here, but you know what? Every story is worth it to me.
Hey, I don't. I mean, look, as an amateur historian, I say truth is a many-faceted diamond. Every aspect of it. People only remember their little, tunnel of it, and you have to consider all sides, even if someone's crazy. The way they perceived it is, worth hearing. So
yeah, she was always nice to me. So and
she was a legitimate contributor.
Yeah.
To early GWAR for sure.
So go check out Colette's episode. It's one of the early ones.
I need to watch all of your.
Yeah.
I need to have some more free time.
Yeah, and when you do, I'd love to talk to you about it.
Oh, I'm sure I'll learn shit. I mean, dude, the documentary, I learned more about the guys in my band than actually living with them. So
yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah. All right, almost done here. This one's about Tim Herman, who also was on this show. So
oh fuck, I got a question about that.
Okay, you want to watch the clip first?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What about Tim Herman? Let's talk about Tim Herman a minute for a second.
Tim Herman, where did he come in? Except that we put fireworks in his ass and lit him on fire.
Did he put sugar at the flood zone? Didn't he get kicked out? Wasn't he kind of?
Oh yeah, the Flood Zone show. Yeah, he was Sluggo P. Martini, right? He tried to be Sluggo, but he was just too drunk.
Did he last one show or two?
I think just that one show. I know Dave was trying to help him out, I guess.
Well, what about Michael Moore? Michael Moore was Sluggo like twice, right?
Michael Moore was trying to. I think he was trying to get in on the whole filmmaking aspect, because being a filmmaker, he wanted to get his name in there. Oh, there's the Antarctic Ant. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike.
That was actually a pretty good costume, so to speak. I mean, except for I like the way the arms all moved together, though. That was pretty good.
For the time, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of confusing jumble, but if you're a super fan like you might be able to interpret some of that stuff.
Well, Tim didn't go into great detail about what happened at the show, but
well, what's so weird about the Flood Zone show is I know it was filmed. I don't know who filmed it, but all the opening bands, I have like about 2 minutes of Unseen Force. I have about a minute of Armpit, and I don't know if you know about Armpit. Did he talk about Armpit?
Yes.
Okay,
he has the demo too somewhere.
Yeah, I have the demo.
Okay,
I mean, it's hilarious. It's another one of those, like, we don't practice, we just make shit up, and it's a very dairy band. They're just like, it's a lot of I love you, but BUTT, like but I have like footage of Armpit playing at the Flood Zone, but none of GWAR. Like, what the hell? Like,
do you know who filmed that?
All the same people in all the bands.
Right.
They're just a revolving cast, and like Brocky's playing someone's guitar and destroying it. It's not his guitar, of course. But I was told that Dave and Tim were in school together and did some like film projects together. And there's a film that is either Tim made starring Dave or Dave made starring Tim about like somebody that lives in a super can. And like, I mean, if you have contact information for Tim, please ask him if he has his student films that have Dave in them. Because I would love to see them.
forget what he talked about on the show, but it might be in there.
Okay.
Yeah, we could talk about that later. He's pretty easy to contact, I think. So he's around. Yeah, he's around. He lives in like Thailand or something now, though.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so I don't think he has much stuff because he just kind of like
just let it all go. Okay.
Probably, yeah. So it's
I feel like that's the vibe I got from it. I didn't follow up on it, but I'm always thinking that some stuff, surfaces. The one good thing about the internet is stuff does surface more lately, but some stuff like the Flood Zone show and Schaefer Court, I've just sort of given up hope, but you never know.
Well, doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll follow up on that. Okay, this is the last clip I have from the interview. It's a couple of minutes long, but it's kind of like the future of, I guess how he kind of exited, and then we'll go from there.
Well, actually, when Hunter left, it went on quite a bit. It went on for about a year after he left. Even though he took all the costumes, we just made new ones. And
I mean, as far as what you thought maybe would happen, did you have any kind of thoughts about the future of Cora?
I didn't think it would go as far as it did, man. No way. I thought it was just too much infighting. At that time, there was a lot of like infighting, and Dave like taking, nobody was handling the money, and everybody was trying to, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. That was the rule, man.
But so before there was any organization, there was a time period.
There was no organization, right? There was just like everybody, I think Hunter was gone. That's what made me mad when Dave took all the money and like spent it, from all this like $2,000 check, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna spend it on recording and buy a keg of beer, yeah. He bought a keg of beer, but I didn't even get a drink out of it. Because every bohab and loser in Richmond came and sucked down all the beer, and I got like one beer out of the keg.
What album was that?
That was before any album, man. That was back at the...
what did he spend the money on?
Oh, he spent the money on a recording. That was the worst part. He spent the money on a recording with alternatives, and then they quit.
So it was an early demo?
So it was like an early demo that was worthless because they all quit the band.
Now, was that the check from the Schaefer Court show?
From the Schaefer Court show.
Now, was that the first time that you're aware that there was money actually, or got a sizable...
Yeah, well, that's what I said, man, we're getting money, and I'm not getting any of it, man. What's the deal? I need to get some of it.
What, primarily before that, where did the money come from to build the stuff?
Oh, that's out of our pockets, man. Everything came out of pocket. So that was kind of a burn, too, because I was like, man, we're spending all this money out of our pocket, and we're not, and where's money coming in, and we need to have some coming back to me, because I'm spending money out of my pocket to entertain the masses. The masses need to send some back to me. But
that took a while, though, right? I mean, for a while, it was really just about the fun.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it was fun and all, but it's not fun when you're spending all your time doing it,
Right. And it couldn't last but so long in that way.
In that way, yeah. Well, yeah, money, right? Money does that to people, man. When money starts coming involved, and then you're like... That and my girlfriend hated GWAR, too. So that didn't help. She thought they were sexist and all this, they're sexist, and they're disgusting and immature.
Shit, that's a seal of approval.
Yeah, that's what I was like, yay!
Oh, I forgot to ask also...
What's wrong with that?
I forgot to focus. You were
I was still collaborating. I wasn't making costumes, but because I was like working and going to school and stuff. But I was working on videos and stuff. I was taking some video classes.
You were still into it, even though that...
Yeah, I just wasn't like making costumes and touring and doing shows because I was like working 40 hours a week and going to school and taking video classes and doing different shit. And I was still doing stuff. And just before I moved, I did that record release show.
Yeah, the Frankenref is
The Frankenref.
To this day, we still Scott still does the Frankenref. So that was the first time that was ever done, correct?
I guess, yeah. The referee for the wrestling show, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get some commentary on that.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There's Mike Delaney. Off topic, but is there a GWAR typo negative flyer somewhere?
The only time I can recall playing with them was in Spokane, Washington in 1994. And I would love to find that flyer. I don't have it. It was we weren't on tour with them, and we played a really big event center. And we just showed up and they were playing it, and because it was like, I guess they were like, oh, I don't know. You know how two tours somehow get smashed together because it's so long ago. I don't remember, but I just remember that's the only time we played with them was Spokane, Washington. I think it was fall of '94. I think we were doing the wrestling show again, and I'd love to have that flyer. It is actually on a list of flyers that I would like to find, but I don't
put it out there.
After the, I used to do so much dredging of the internet like daily before the book and the movie came out, and I still care and I still want the stuff, but I've got too much other shit to do, and it was really about kind of making sure that people would remember us, and now I'm not worried about it anymore.
Right.
So I have a bucket list of things I would like to find, but if I never find them, I'm like, whatever, I got so much other work to do. But yes, the only show I recall us playing with them was at the Spokane, Washington Convention Center.
I think, no, this is just a flyer that has you both on a list of bands playing at the same club. Never mind.
Yeah. That's pretty common.
Did GWAR ever play with Carnivore?
No.
That
would
have been cool. All right. Well, you guys go find that show flyer. See if you guys can find it. I'm sure those typo negative fans are pretty rabid too.
Yeah.
So, and you should, talk to Jason Leckberg because he's like in on that community. So, Duffs and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Mike Delaney. Let me see what I missed on this slideshow. Is some early photos of him, probably in college.
That's the one on the right is Schaefer Court. That's VCU, and whatever the one on the left is, that's clearly Richmond. I don't know where that is, but that's that's Gray Street right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forget who took these photos, but I stole them from his Facebook. So.
Yep, that's Schaefer Court right there, and I don't know if that's Russ or not in the front. I might not be. Sort of looks Russ-ish.
Yeah, it's Rush-ish. Russ was on the show, guys. Go check it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, okay. We saw these. The Chateau of Sin here, and I love. I don't know where this was on display, but
so that's the Valentine. I restored that piece and gave it to the Valentine. I believe they have. I know they have the Flatus. I restored the Don Flatus classic helmet. They have a couple of things. I love the Valentine. They don't have.
What is the Valentine?
So the Valentine is a museum. It's a nonprofit. It has nothing to do. It's not like funded by anyone except people that love Richmond. So it's very underfunded, which is problematic. But it's also good because it doesn't have to be tied to any sort of political, regime, and it can't be really censored. So that's great. They just don't have enough really room to do a real GWAR retrospective, but they've been really good to us. And I try and do, because they're a Richmond museum, and so I've given them a bunch of stuff. Well, not a bunch, but I've given them a few.
So it's still there if you go to.
Oh yeah. They did a huge fundraiser about a year and a half ago, and me and Brad and Dirks and Matt went down there and mingled with a bunch of blue bloods, just because we knew it would be a good thing, because everyone's donating a bunch of money to keep the Valentine going. So yeah.
Nice. Well, I'll put that on my list of things to do if I ever get back to Richmond. I got to do the whole tour at some point.
Yeah.
I want to do it when you guys are there, not when you're on tour though. So we'll figure it out.
Yep.
And
so
then,
that's
of
the
course,
roof. That's the roof of the dairy. And let me see. So you can see a real early Sultan of Sin there on the far right.
That's the cone.
Yep.
And what is that? What he's wearing? Is that him in this picture?
You know, so if you look above the G, I think that's Delaney.
Oh yeah, that's
right. And so like, because him and Chuck are so like, they're both the big guys. That could be Chuck.
Chuck
and
might
Delaney
be
could
Gorgor.
be, and Delaney, yeah. But I feel like that's Delaney in the Executioner, and that's the Roman helmet that you can't see from the side. You can see from the front. But I think that's Delaney.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then this one.
That's probably him or Chuck in that second version of Cardinal Sin with the buzzsaw.
And that's in the milk bottle, right?
That's in one of the milk bottles. Yeah.
So there's the vehicle, and
there he is on the floor.
Stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So that's 94 or 93, and that's him helping us me and Don build the flesh column. And so that was
the movie version or the tour version?
The tour version. The movie version was a disaster.
That's,
some people.
I think Don told that story on the show. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a very memorable story.
Yeah.
But Muscle built the understructure, the big aluminum thing that's hanging in the background, and Don made the foam outer. I made the hands, and I'm in one of the hands, and me and Bonner played the two hands because we were the two little guys. But it was a 3-man costume. So Don was in the middle playing the body, and me and Bonner were the two hands. That was a really ambitious costume. I really wish we could do shit like that these days, but
I forget, on the tour version, was there a skull head on the top doing the controls?
Yeah, he was driving it, but it was just, he would get pulled off. And that actually, that part that got pulled off, that's hanging at the gallery in LA.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then, the homogenizer crew. Who are these other guys, you know?
So Ernest on the far right was in a bunch of Richmond bands. He was in Burma Jam with Tim Harris. And then the guy on the left was Straz.
I have a Burma Jam somewhere here.
Yeah. I'm not a real fan of world music, but I mean, they're all great people. And Tim Harris is one of my favorite guitar players ever. So like, Straz there on the left.
I would love to talk to him too, if you know where he is.
Oh, I talk to Tim all the time. He just had
I love Capone. So let's talk. I would love to talk to him. I think I've sent him a message. He probably never saw it. Cool.
Well, that's Straz on the left, and he passed away quite a while ago. But he was Capone's sound man. He was a Baltimore guy that did sound for GWAR and was just an all around great guy. But yeah, that's Delaney in the middle, and that's the sort of when all the corpses come back to life for the big dance sequence, the big undead dance sequence for Skullhead Face.
Yeah. And then here's some John Poppy's correction figures of some characters that he did.
Oh man, the 86 Gorgor looks fucking great.
Yeah. So cool. I mean, it's so accurate too.
Well, they're all really good. Yeah. All right.
And then, let's get into some. We'll breeze through this. I know I've kept you long enough on this thing, but
it's all right.
You're
man.
here. We got to talk about what's going on. It's the 40th anniversary of GWAR. You got the galleries going on Friday. You got Danielle and Hunter going to do some kind of talk at the gallery, which is really cool. Hopefully they film that too. It seems like they're documenting this thing pretty well so far.
Well, Roger is doing a fantastic job, man. I mean, he's just a fucking like machine when it comes to, that's how you, I mean, his engagement is fucking crazy. Like he really knows. I mean, the entire time I was installing, I mean, we were working 13-hour days for a week straight, and he had it was kind of driving me bonkers because I can't stand it, but it was some Richmond guys. It was Dave Stewart, Day by Day, guy from Richmond. But it was just about getting content and trying to sell the idea so we can do more of that in other galleries and museums. So I'm not
Yes, bring it to New York.
Yeah. But yeah, he was really like, it's all about like making sure you have everything captured for content and stuff like that. So it was, they were filming us around the clock during the install, and we were.
Is anyone in GWAR? Well, you mean besides Hunter and Danielle?
So when the rest of the band got to there a couple days early, and they got like, so the thing you showed at the beginning where they filmed, where they interviewed Matt and Margaret, that was during the couple days after we were done with the install, before the first opening was the celebrity opening.
Yeah.
But it was to put everything together to try and sell this thing to other museums, not really galleries, because the problem is we're not really selling things.
Right.
We're not selling the artwork. I mean, there is some stuff there for sale, but it's the kind of stuff you can buy through our website, like eBay. It's old retired props. So like, it's really like more of a museum show. So the idea is to like get it into institutions to take care of this. So when we're gone, like to establish us as this important cultural force, which God, thanks for Roger for recognizing that and trying to push that. That's what he's so fucking great at. But, that's the idea, is to get it out there, get it out of our hands, get it in some like climate controlled storage. So it's just on display for the next 100 years or whatever. And like, a win-win.
Yeah. I assume none of the other GWAR people are going to be at the event on Friday, because you guys
we're just balls to the wall here.
But
and
definitely go. It's Hunter and Danielle. I'm so curious what they're going to say.
I mean, the thing is, we're trying to push like what we're doing now, of course, because that's what's keeping us active and stuff. But really, it's about everybody, and those guys are out there, and so like when are you going to get a chance to see those guys talk? It's like pretty rare. So it's
they live in LA, so it's local for them.
Yeah. I don't think we're playing Anaheim, and it's up for another couple days, but I don't even think we're going to go. I don't think I'm going to go up there, because it's like,
you guys are busy on tour, man.
Yeah.
You did your thing at the gallery.
Yeah, I was there for 2 fucking weeks.
And just to wrap this up, because you guys, of course, go watch my episode with Roger last week. We did a whole thing about the gallery. So if you didn't check it out, check it out. But I want to ask you about the opening and, meeting Mark Mothersbaugh specifically.
Oh, it was huge. And what was great was unsolicited. So Roger and I tried to sell the idea of GWAR to museums probably 5 years ago. And before COVID, the ICA in Richmond, we had an opening there, and we had a foot in the door at a couple of places, but COVID kind of killed it, and the art market kind of tanking kind of killed it. But during that course of that thing, I met with the guy from art museum, or from a museum in Denver, and he gave me a copy of Mark Mothersbaugh's book, Myopia, which really informs you about his art before Devo and what he brought to Devo and stuff like that. And so I dug into that book and was really loved it, because my understanding of Devo was that it was the Casale brothers were primarily the driving conceptual force in that. And that book kind of challenges that and says, oh, well, they were, but Mark had his own conceptual ideas and brought it, and they mashed it together. So it was really like GWAR. It was a bunch of people with their own visions, and they mashed them all together. And so when I met Mark at the opening, he had already bought the book, years ago when it came out. And he was like, dude, it was so informative. Like, he just came up. He was he was everything you'd want him to be. Like, generous with his time, talked to everyone, got photos with everyone, had the book, knew about it, was smart. And I was like, oh, well, by the way, your book did the same thing for me. And I found out a whole bunch about your art and your concepts and how you brought that to Devo. So it was awesome, man. He's just such a great, important person,
Did you see
especially the GWAR, like, especially to art school, conceptual rock and roll?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the concept of Devo is just crazy. More people need to know about that.
Oh,
Did you watch the documentary on
people
Netflix?
That listen to them get it, like,
I doubt it.
It's very GWAR, because it's like people are not evolving, they're devolving. People are turning into, Jocko Homo is about how everyone's turning into a caveman. Like it's awesome. Like,
yeah. Did you see the documentary? The new
I have not seen
documentary?
it yet. Yeah. Matt was watching it in the office the other day and I was like, I need to have this, I need to watch this in like where I can really pay attention to
Yeah,
it.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. It was pretty cool. I wish it was longer. It was like 90 minutes and I'm like, I want 3 hours of this, But
Well, I
of
mean, I
course,
felt the
that's how it
same way
is.
about. I wish the GWAR documentary could have
Trust me, me too. Yeah.
a 10-part, SNL series.
I'd love to re-edit that into something, just putting that out there into the ether,
Well, eventually, like, I mean, all the people we couldn't afford to interview, like, and you're getting them before, it gets too late, unfortunately. And like, luckily I caught some of those people. And I have 2 hours of Bonner. I have 2 hours of, I got all those guys and nothing came of that, unfortunately. But like, just if anything ever happens, it's great that I got them to talk about, their experience. And I'll try and set you up with whoever I can,
Well, I appreciate that. Cause I'm Scott Barber was my first episode here to talk about the documentary. And I was like, my biggest problem with it is that I didn't get to make it. So this is kind of like my contribution to that. And eventually I can cut this up into like something very informative as well, I think. So,
well, when Roger and I were working on the book, and we worked on it for 5 years.
By the way, get the new version of the book while we're talking about it. I got mine right here. I don't know if it's gonna fit in my GWAR cave because it's just massive.
So what did you think about the one edition, the list of shows?
That's my favorite part. I've been wanting to. I mean, we talked about this last time, and
it's still,
it's so cool.
And since the book come out, I've already found several inconsistencies.
Yeah,
I
bet.
was editing it on the road with no smartphone, so
oh man,
it's never going to be 100% right.
Do you ever find a show with Haunted Garage yet?
But it's close enough, and it gets you in the ballpark, and it's. I will always keep, that's my baby, and I will always keep adding to that. And like I said in my liner notes there, it's like there's another list with every convention appearance and every girly freak show and Death Piggy and but you have to edit those things down to make them digestible to the public. The super fans are going to want all of it, and there's a place for that later on, but like
yeah. Who's that guy?
Shameless.
Yeah.
Shameless.
Buy my book. Well, what I'm really excited about, I mean, I love the tour dates, but what I was really psyched about is the Mind Control Monthly. Because I've been wanting this for when I was, in 1995, looking through your catalogs, I was like, that's cool. I want that. And finally we have it. So go get your Mind Control Monthly. Really, it's incredible. It's cleaned up. You can actually read it, unlike some of the scans I've seen in the past. Great stuff.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of bootlegging going on. Like that's why I'm not online. I don't want to participate.
You don't want to know about it. It's all here. Go buy it officially.
Buy the official one, man. Yeah. Like Roger does a really great job of curating the past and doing it justice, and that's a really nice fucking addition.
Yeah,
like it's something. It's not worth paying $1,000 to get the originals.
No,
it's much better to have it, and I don't know, like I don't care about the original shit anymore. And Matt and I, neither of us had a complete set. Like I had all but one, and he had all but two, and we combined ours to lend them to Roger to get them scanned for that.
They did a great job on it. I'm reading it one a night when I can. It's really cool. So that's like the book coming back out is cool, but the Mind Control Monthly, that was like, holy shit, that's great. More people should know about that. Getting great press. I just wanted to show that you gotten, holy shit. LA Times, that's great. This was unexpected. How did you feel about all of this stuff? Libs of TikTok.
I don't care. Like that's the reason why I don't engage with the modern world. Like it was gone the next day. Like I didn't like, it doesn't change anything that I do. Like it's actually kind of refreshing because for the longest time I was like, we can't even, no one even cares. We can't even shock anyone.
That was
The
part
fact
of the
that people
joke,
were-
like in some of your, storylines recently. Yeah, I said that to Roger last week. It's like I'm so glad they're offending people again, even though they're not doing anything really different. It's just
No, there's
people are
absolutely
catching
nothing
on.
different. And you know, I mean, I know it is scary for, you know, because but I don't know, man. Like I can only speak for myself.
Yeah.
But for me, it didn't change anything that I do at all.
Oh,
Like,
I didn't expect it to change, but wasn't it? It was some good press, right? No, what do they say? No press is bad press, kind of
right?
thing.
Yeah, yeah. I you know, it happened, and I was watching the Beach Boys.
New York Times, I think it was in. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the state. I mean, it's not like the media's ever been like great, but you know, it's just more rage, whatever they call rage bait. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have much to comment there. It's
And
just,
then I really enjoyed this. I think you guys should do more ensemble interviews. I mean, that was a rarity to get everyone sort of in there at once. I
yeah, well,
it.
you know, I wasn't even there for that.
You weren't there. Did you see it?
No,
it's pretty
no,
entertaining.
like I said, this year's crazy. There's so much going on, and everyone's just kind of doing their own thing. You know, I want to be on Turn to Punk.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I'm important enough, but you know, because I'm not the lead singer or anything like that. But I think to speak to punk history, I'm gonna actually try again. But I just think that like
Tristan Abraham, that's the guy you need to contact.
Well, one of my buds in Richmond who has a punk record label knows the dude, and we actually played a show with Fucked Up. So
yeah, I saw Fucked Up with the Descendants once.
Yeah, we played with them at South by Southwest. It was like Big Frida, Fucked Up, Andrew WK, and GWAR. It was a really great lineup. Like that's the kind of lineup I celebrated, just like across the board, fucked up weird shit. Like it was.
Do you know all about the Andrew WK lore and all the stuff about him?
Anything.
Oh my god! Okay, that's a whole different. We can't even get into it here. You want to talk about conceptual artists? He's like the best conceptual artist I think in the last 20 years. It's all a concept.
Yeah.
The music and everything is a smokescreen to like his whole. Yeah. Fans of GWAR, Andrew WK is a conceptual artist more than a musician. You gotta dig into that. But you need some time because it'll eat out like weeks of your life.
I felt like there was more going on than I was aware of.
There's a lot more going on than
I could actually see that very clearly.
Briefly, I had a show about him on YouTube, but I just didn't have enough time to follow up on it. But going on the recent press, yes, someone made a comment before. The Angry Video Game Nerd, that was a great episode.
I mean, this year has been like it's like
one after the other.
That our 40th year is a year of firsts. You know, Alaska. We're just doing all this new stuff, which is really like, you know, none of us mind a lot of work, and we're so used to it. And this year's been like a lot of work, but it's all doing new like crazy stuff, like the gallery in Alaska, and like it's just refreshing that we can, you know, keep this much stuff going on at this point in our career.
Yeah.
And you know,
of course, the new record, comic book.
Stuff. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff.
This is almost like old news already, you know.
Yeah, I'm kind of just so, like I'm in my own lane trying to make sure that all this stuff that I'm working on gets done in time. So like I can't even remember all this stuff that's going on.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I just want to like breeze through it because there's so much. You get your Gore plushie, and here's hanging out with my Andrew WK one. So there you go. What do we got here? Oh yeah, of course the toys are coming out. I'm trying to get Trick or Treat on this show. I sent them an email. We'll see what happens.
Well, let's stay in touch about some of the old GWAR members, because I feel very strongly about that. I want everyone to kind of speak. I mean, especially Dave Muscle. Like I feel very strongly about that. I'm so glad that Don had Delaney on there. You know, he went downhill fast, and it really hurt my feelings that I didn't reconnect with him as much as I could have.
I'll warn you, most of that episode is just old men dealing with technology. So you might want to do it with a 2 times speed kind of thing.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that pain, but
go watch Live from the Helm.
I just want to like kind of reiterate. Oh yeah. I'm excited about this fall.
The tour, yes. The dwarves and helmet. Holy shit, that's so cool.
Where did that on the right? Where is that?
I got that from the dwarves. I think they made it because it's just like their dates from it. Yeah, it's a cool flyer. I love the dwarves, so I'm psyched about it. I'll see you in New York, maybe Philly if I'm feeling adventurous.
Okay.
And you guys were just with Savage Master. I love them. This is a picture I took of them like a month or 2 ago.
Helmet and Savage Master. What a great, like, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was only 4 shows, but it was really.
I discovered them because they opened for you guys in Brooklyn.
Yeah, well, we did a tour with them a couple years ago, but it's Adams from the Hookers, and the Hookers were like such a great. I saw them in Richmond years ago, and the guy was on the bar kicking drinks out of people's hands, and it was just that level of like great showmanship, like, and there was no fights. Everyone like instantly realized like, oh, this is a show. This is great. People were lining up to like, get involved. So, I don't want to spin too wildly off here. I just wanted to say like, thank you for being able to,
thank you.
Bring this to the people so people remember Delaney and, he's an important part of GWAR and the success it had. So I'm just here to try and remember that.
Yeah, we're gonna close it up. I have one more announcement. I have a show announcement, you guys. Guess who I just booked this week? Kurt Ballo, who mixed your new record.
Oh.
And I'm like, holy shit! I saw Converge with GWAR at Sounds of the Underground.
Oh fuck yeah! I mean, Converge is huge.
Yeah, so we're gonna get him on the show.
Oh, that's great.
November 5th. It's an early one, so check it out, 4 p.m. Eastern time, because he's got dad duties and stuff. So, Yeah, and that's all I got for you guys. I've got another non-GWAR show here tomorrow. If you want to come join me and hang out with me. And yeah, thanks so much for being here. This was a great idea. I think we executed it pretty well.
Yeah, man. Thanks for giving us the platform so people can find out some of this. Like, we don't have a platform of our own to share this deep dive into GWAR, like super fan history.
Let me be your vessel for stuff like this, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Cool, guys. Yeah, that's it. Go see GWAR on tour. I'll be there somewhere. I think I need to get a cover for my camera because I think I ruined a couple lenses going to too many GWAR shows with that thing.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you. Let me get the outro. Hey, my outro. It's Andrew WK inspired. So, all right, guys. I'll see you next time. Like, share, and subscribe. I better have at least 20 likes on this thing by the time I look at it. All right. Bye.
Here's to Michael.
Sorry, I cut you off.
That's all right. Here's to Mike Delaney.
To Mike Spike Delaney. Pour one out for the scum dog.
Like, share, subscribe, comment below. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. Like, share, subscribe.